Welcome to RSA's Relationships, where a birthday disaster, 25-year fee, ruined my boyfriend's 25-year male birthday. Today is my boyfriend's birthday, and I ruined it.
I gave him his gift early, as I wanted to make sure it was something that he liked and would be useful for the purpose I got it for. He said he liked it, but wasn't as excited about it as I had hoped, but whatever. We haven't gotten each other anything for the past 2 years, but I wanted to do something special. We are also getting ready to go on a weekend camping trip to celebrate as well. Here's where I messed up. We had plans to go to dinner, but he decided he'd rather try a local food truck instead. On the way there, he mentioned that I would need to drive home because of drinking. I was fine with this, as I have always been anytime he drinks and I don't. During this conversation, I mentioned that his plates were expired, so I wasn't 100% comfortable taking his vehicle. I am not exactly how I worded this, but he took it as that I would want to take home as all. He then told me that I ruined his birthday like everything else. And he said that he was having a good day until he had to come home to me. He also mentioned that he should have stayed home or his ex on this birthday with his friends. I apologized and tried to explain that I did not mean it the way he took it, so we then went home and he isn't really talking to me. How do I fix this? Okay, so this is one of those posts where the person is asking the wrong question entirely, and it's honestly breaking my heart. OP is sitting here asking, how do I fix this? When she should be asking, why am I dating someone who treats me like garbage on his birthday? Like, let's break down what actually happened here, because this dude's behavior is absolutely unhinged. First red flag. They haven't gotten each other gifts in 2 years, but she decided to do something special for his birthday. That's sweet, right? But he wasn't excited enough for her liking. Already we're seeing someone who's trying way too hard to please someone who doesn't appreciate the effort. Then this man, and I use that term loosely, decides he wants to go drinking on his birthday, which is totally fine, but then tells her she needs to drive home because he's planning to get wasted. Again, not unreasonable. But when she mentions his expired plates because she's literally just trying to avoid getting pulled over with an intoxicated driver, this grown man loses his absolute mind. And here's where it gets really ugly. He tells her she ruined his birthday like everything else, and that he was having a good day until he had to come home to her. Bro, what? She's your girlfriend, not some random roommate you're stuck with, and then, he drops the nuclear bomb about how he should have stayed with his ex and his friends instead. That's not anger talking, that's cruelty. That's someone who knows exactly where to aim to cause maximum damage. No decent person says that to their partner, especially not over expired license plates. As someone who's been in relationships where you're constantly walking on eggshells, this whole dynamic screams emotional abuse. She's so conditioned to believe everything is her fault that she's genuinely asking how to fix a situation where she did absolutely nothing wrong. The fact that he's giving her the silent treatment afterward is just the cherry on top of this toxic sundae. That's manipulation 101. Make her feel so guilty and anxious that she'll do anything to get back in his good graces. OP, honey, the only thing you need to fix is your dating standards. This man just showed you exactly who he is. Believe him. The boyfriend. 5 buttholes for being an emotionally abusive man-child who weaponizes his ex against his current girlfriend. OP. 5 buttholes. She's been gaslit into thinking basic safety concerns make her the villain. Our next Reddit post is from Anonymous Accusations. How do I approach my fiancé about accusations made by an anonymous account? Help all. I just need a little bit of advice. My fiancé, 36M, and I, 28F, have been together for 5 years, engaged for just over 2. We've had some ups and downs, mostly due to his jealousy, but we've been doing really well recently, or so I thought. So he was out a couple of nights ago having drinks with some colleagues, and came home around 2 a.m. completely drunk. Not unusual, he always comes home very drunk after a night out. Everything seemed okay until the day after, when I received a message from an anonymous profile on FB saying he had been trying to go home with a 19-year-old girl. They mentioned behavior that definitely sound like him, but they won't give me any names as to who they are, nor who the girl is. I know a bad feeling about this, but I know if I do ask him about it, it will turn into a massive argument and he will then accuse me of creating drama or him, but they won't give me any names, so the anonymous profile made her untrue. Any suggestions on how to bring this up to my partner without it blowing up? TLDR, My partner was out a few nights ago and an anonymous profile accused him of trying to cheat. Look, this whole situation is giving major red flags, and honestly, it's painful to watch this woman second-guess herself when she should be running for the hills. So here's what's happening. This dude has a history of jealousy issues, which is already a massive warning sign. And now someone's telling her he was hitting on a teenager at a bar. But instead of being outraged about the accusation, she's terrified of even bringing it up because she knows he'll explode and blame her for creating drama. And yo, can we talk about how she immediately said the behavior definitely sounds like him? That's not someone defending their partner. That's someone who already knows what they're capable of. When a stranger describes your fiancé doing something terrible and your first thought is, yeah, that tracks, that should tell everything about the relationship. The anonymous messenger probably wrestled with whether to send that message for days. Nobody wants to be the one to blow up someone's engagement, but sometimes witnessing something so uncomfortable leaves no choice. A grown man hitting on a teenager while his fiancé is at home? That's not just cheating, that's predatory behavior. Here's the thing that's really getting to everyone, though. She's asking for advice on how to bring this up without it blowing up. Not whether she should believe it, not whether it's worth ending the engagement over. She's already accepted that this conversation will be a nightmare, and she's just trying to minimize the damage to herself. As someone who's seen these patterns before, jealousy and controlling behavior often go hand in hand with being inappropriate with other people. It's all about power and control. The same insecurity that makes someone jealous in a relationship also drives them to seek validation from others, especially vulnerable people like teenagers. The fact that she's more scared of his reaction than she is concerned about finding out the truth tells everything about this relationship dynamic. She's been conditioned to believe that questioning him makes her the problem. That's not a partnership. That's emotional manipulation with a wedding dress. The real question is, why is she planning to marry someone she can't even have a serious conversation with? The anonymous person who sent that message probably saved her from making the biggest mistake of her life. The fiancé? 5 buttholes for being a controlling creep who has his partner too scared to even ask basic questions. OP 05 buttholes. She's been psychologically manipulated into accepting unacceptable behavior. Anonymous messenger. 05 buttholes potentially saved this woman from a terrible situation. Our next Reddit post is from Bachelorette Drama. My boyfriend, 33M, doesn't want me, 33F, to go on a bachelorette trip to Wisconsin. So my friend who's getting married in August invited me to go on a bachelorette trip with her and 16 other girls to Wisconsin to a lake house. She invited us back in November, so I got excited, booked the flights, and told him after I booked it. Well, it turned into a fight. He was saying that he doesn't trust the other girls and he's worried about my safety, and he knows what happens on bachelorette trips. We actually broke up over it but got back together the next day, and I told him I would book into changing it. Well, there's no way to change it because it's on an airline that only goes to like 12 cities, and I don't want a credit that will go to waste. Well, basically, I just never brought it up again because honestly, I wasn't sure we'd still be together by the time it came around. Well, we are, and it's next week, and I'm absolutely terrified to bring it up to him. I need some advice on how to bring it up or what I should do. I have a feeling he's going to get pissed and tell me how horrible of a person I am for lying to him and break up with me. He'll try to make me feel like absolute shit and try to put my trip. He's the kind of person that will just break up with me when he gets worked up over something I did, and then come back a few hours later and be fine after scolding me. We've been together for over 2 years, and this is my first trip since we've been together. I'd also like to add, he just brought up that he's thinking about going on a guy's golfing trip somewhere. TLDR. Boyfriend doesn't like the idea of me going on a bachelorette trip to a lake house. I'm going next week and need to bring it up to him. I just don't know how to. Look, this post is absolutely infuriating because OP is asking the wrong question again, and it's making my blood pressure spike. She's asking for advice on how to bring up a trip to her boyfriend when she should be asking why she's dating someone who makes her feel absolutely terrified, to mention a girl's weekend. That's not normal relationship behavior, you guys. That's controlling, manipulative garbage. And yo, can we talk about how they literally broke up over this trip already? Like, she booked a flight to Wisconsin. Wisconsin, not Vegas, not Miami, not some crazy party destination. We're talking about a lake house weekend, and this man lost his mind so badly that they ended their relationship. Then she felt so guilty and scared that she promised to change her plans just to get him back. Here's what's really getting to me, though. She describes his pattern of behavior like it's totally normal. He gets worked up over something she did, breaks up with her, then comes back hours later to scold her like she's a child. That's not love. That's psychological manipulation. He's training her to be afraid of his reaction, so she'll just avoid doing anything that might upset him. The cherry on top? This dude is already planning his own guy's golf trip while simultaneously forbidding her from going anywhere. The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering. It's giving major rules for thee but not for me energy. As someone who's watched friends go through this exact pattern, this is textbook emotional abuse. She's so conditioned to his explosive reactions that she's genuinely terrified to tell him about plans she made months ago for her friend's wedding celebration. And can we address the fact that this is her first trip in over 2 years of dating? That's not protective. That's isolation. He's systematically cutting her off from experiences and friendships, and she's so deep in it that she thinks she's the problem. OP, here's the advice nobody asked for, but everybody needs to hear. If you're terrified to tell your partner about a weekend trip with friends, that's not a relationship. That's a prison sentence with occasional conjugal visits. The boyfriend. 5 buttholes for being a controlling, hypocritical manipulator who uses breakups as punishment. OP 5 buttholes. She's been gaslit into thinking basic friendship activities are relationship crimes. Our next Reddit post is from the Green Forest Guy. How to break up with the nicest guy Iowa 27M, Iowa 27F have ever dated. I have been going out with a guy for over a month now. We know each other since years, but had lost contact in between for like 3 years. Restarted talking over 3 months back. There was some initial spark, but I don't feel that anymore, and I'm sure of it, and however, it breaks my heart into a million pieces thinking about him this. The other issue is how invested he is in this relationship. He has full confidence that this is a forever thing, and already talks about the future, frequently. He's a green forest, although a bit too idealistic for me, and we are often able to resolve any conflicts that come our way. I think that's because we are both adjusting, which is not one of the reasons he has such faith in us working out, I guess. He's a sweetheart and says, I can take all the time I want to fully get him. I feel absolutely lost and don't know how to end this. How do I approach this? Because I know it'll completely blindside him. Tell DR. I need advice on breaking up with a green forest of a guy who's very invested in the relationship. Look, I gotta pause right here because this whole situation is giving me actual anxiety. Like you guys, this is one of those posts where I'm reading it and I can feel the secondhand pain radiating through my screen. First off, OP, and I'm talking directly to you here, calling this dude a green forest is both the most wholesome and heartbreaking thing I've heard all week. Like, we get it. He's pure, he's nature, he's probably the type of guy who waters his plants and says good morning to them. But honey, you can't date someone just because they're environmentally conscious with their emotions. Here's the thing that's killing me about this whole mess. This guy has been planning your wedding in his head for 3 weeks while you've been Googling how to ghost someone politely. That's not his fault, and it's not really yours either, but Jesus Christ, the timing is brutal. And can we talk about how you lost the spark after a month? Yo, that's not even long enough to see someone's true bathroom habits. Like, you haven't even hit the point where he's comfortable farting in front of you, and you're already planning his emotional funeral. Sometimes I wonder if we've all been so conditioned by dating apps that we think love is supposed to hit like a TikTok algorithm, instant, addictive, and constantly stimulating. But here's where I'm going to be real with you. You absolutely have to rip this Band-Aid off. This poor green forest man is out here watering your relationship like it's a prize-winning orchid, and you're basically letting him tend to a plastic plant. That's not fair to either of you. As someone who's been the over-invested guy before, let me tell you, the longer you wait, the more it's going to destroy him. Right now, he's thinking you're just taking your time to fully get him. But every day you wait is another day he's building castles in the air. You're not protecting his feelings by dragging this out. You're just making the eventual crash that much harder. My advice? Be direct but kind. Don't give him false hope. Don't suggest maybe in the future. And for the love of all that's holy, don't use the "it's not you, it's me" line. Tell him he's wonderful. Tell him he deserves someone who's as excited about the future as he is, and tell him that person isn't you right now. OP, 1 out of 5 buttholes. You're not evil, just human and confused. Green Forest Guy. 0 out of 5 buttholes. This man is pure sunshine and deserves better. The universe, 3 out of 5 buttholes. For making good people incompatible sometimes. Our next Reddit post is from Wedding Drama. I'm contemplating not attending two of my friends' weddings because they ignore my efforts to hang out with them. 29M have two friends that I've known since we were teenagers that I used to be very close with. They both live in the same town 30 minutes away. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I would only see them 1 to 3 times a year, birthdays, New Year's Eve. I would try to make efforts to hang out, but it would fall through and I never thought much of it. However, in the last year since one of their birthdays in June 2024, I haven't seen them at all. I've tried 4 separate times to make plans with them since, but they ignore my messages, including the other week when I texted one of them and he left me on read after asking for the 3 of us to hang out one night. One is having an engagement party next month with their wedding happening the year after, and the second friend is having his wedding in September. I was invited to the September wedding a couple months ago when my friend's fiancé reached out to me asking for my address to send me invitation, and I was sent a mass text by the other friend for the engagement party. When my friend's fiancé reached out, she told me these two friends see each other frequently. I mentioned this to my other friend and said he should invite me sometime. With no response, he sent the engagement party invitation a month later. I sat on the engagement invitation for a month until his birthday and told him I would go. I haven't given a response for the wedding invitation yet, but I have until August 1st. I've sat on these invitations given my frustration of them ignoring any efforts to make plans. After my one friend ignored me the other week after I asked to hang out, I'm contemplating not even going to either the engagement party or the wedding. I feel our friendships are basically over at this point, and if they don't want to hang out at all or can't communicate why, then I shouldn't bother. I'm very torn regarding if I should attend or not. Any advice would be appreciated. TLDR, I have 2 childhood friends that invited me to their engagement party and wedding respectively, but will not hang out with me on a normal occasion and ignore any efforts to make plans, so I don't know if I should even attend either event. Look, I need to break this down for you guys because OP is living in what I like to call friendship purgatory. And honestly, it's painful to watch. So here's what's happening. This dude has 2 childhood friends who've basically put him in the wedding guest only category. Like, they want him there for the Instagram photos and the gift, but they can't be bothered to grab a beer on a Tuesday night. That's some next level compartmentalization right there. And yo, can we talk about how they ignore his messages? Not even a, hey man, can't make it tonight, and just straight up digital ghosting. That's the kind of behavior that makes you question if you ever actually knew these people at all. Here's the thing that's really getting to me though. OP is still considering going to these events. Bro, they've shown you exactly where you stand in their lives. You're not a friend anymore, you're a nostalgic obligation. They probably have a group chat without you where they're like, should we invite him? And the answer is only yes when there's a gift registry involved. As someone who's been through friend breakups, and trust me, they hurt worse than romantic ones sometimes, this is what I call the slow fade friendship death. It's when people don't have the balls to actually end things, so they just let it die through neglect. It's cowardly, but it's also really common. My advice? Skip both events. Send a nice card with a gift from their registry and save yourself the emotional torture of sitting there watching them celebrate with people who actually matter to them. Because that's what's going to happen. You'll be there feeling like a ghost of friendships past while they're surrounded by their current crew. The real question is, why are you holding on to people who clearly don't want to hold on to you? The 2 friends. 4-5. Buttholes for being cowardly and treating OP like a convenience store friend. OP. 1-5 butthole for still considering attending when he should have walked away months ago.